Our programs are driven by producer-focused research and education. The country is divided into 4 different regions. We all have slightly different grant programs. So I will talk to you today about the Western region, which is 13 states, so about New Mexico, north to Montana, west, Alaska, Hawaii, and the Pacific Island territories and protectorates. We have quite the range in our region. Each of these regions is hosted by a land-grant institution. So out of the west, our program is hosted out of Montana State University, and then our professional development program is hosted out of the University of Wyoming. And then each region also has an administrative council, and they're the ones that make our funding decisions. So the administrative council is a pretty diverse group regionally, as well as with experience. We have representatives from federal agencies, universities, agribusiness, nonprofits, and then farmers and ranchers on our council. So our mission is to advance innovations that improve profitability, stewardship, and quality in American agriculture by investing in groundbreaking research and education. So to do this, we have 5 goals, and I bring the goals up because if you're going to apply for our programs, you'll want to make sure that you're addressing these goals in your proposal, and also again to see if our programs might be a good fit for you. So our goals are to promote good stewardship of natural resources, to enhance the quality of life of farmers and ranchers, to protect the health and safety of those involved in food systems, to promote diversification of crops, livestock, and enterprises, and to examine the economic, social, and environmental implications of adopting sustainable ag practices and systems. So a lot of big goals, a lot of them tie into soil health. So how do we accomplish this? Mainly, like I said, we are a competitive grants program. We also have coordinators in each state and protectorate, and then we produce learning resources. So we have the SARE Learning Center that's available online. I also wanted to bring up what makes us unique. SARE is built on the foundation of respect for agricultural producers and the idea that farmers and ranchers know what's best for their land. So because of this, all of our programs must include the involvement of farmers and ranchers from start to finish. So when these grantees were asked about what research questions they think, that would be a good way to start your SARE proposal. We require producers are involved in the planning, design, implementation, and educational outreach of all of our funded projects. So with our Western SARE grant programs, we're looking to fund incremental and transformative changes in agricultural and food systems. You'll see innovation brought up in our calls for proposals. We're looking for interdisciplinary approaches for sustainable ag production. And we are looking to provide research and education for producers and other stakeholders. So we have 7 main competitive grant programs. In blue are our 5 research and education programs. In purple are our 2 professional development programs. And then the green one is a special call for proposal that we had about. So just kind of maybe the scale of what we're looking at in our last, in this current funding year, 2024, our administrative council recently approved funding for 82 projects, which accounted for $7.7 million. So for all of our 5 research and education grants, you're going to be asked for these 4 points. They'll be on different matters of scale and complexity, depending on which program you're applying for. But essentially, we're looking for you to identify a research, a problem, and the question on how you're going to answer it. Describe how you're going to answer it, how it will solve the problem, identify the significance of your project, how it relates to needs that we have in the region, and how it will advance sustainable agriculture in the region. And then all of our research programs also require education, so how your results will be shared among stakeholders. So for these programs, successful proposals will conduct research and education. And like I said, those results are communicated to producers and professionals. So I think I split the programs into the order of funding. So the first is the Farmer Rancher program. This is the program I manage, so if you have questions about this one, happy to answer. I can answer questions about all the programs, but I know most about this one. So for the Farmer Rancher program, we're providing opportunities for sustainable ag practices, trying out ones to solve a problem that you have on your farm and ranch, and then you'll share your project results with others. So to apply for this program, you must be a farmer or a rancher. You would lead the project. We define that as either you are a full-time farmer or rancher, or you're a part-time producer, which means that you've made at least $1,000 of agricultural products, or equivalent if you don't sell this product. So there's some caveats to this. For this program, individual producers can apply to up to $25,000, and groups of 3 or more can apply for up to $29,900. And this is for up to 3 years. So in 2026, which is our next funding cycle, we will be increasing that cap to $35,000. So if you want to wait for next year, you can do that if you're not ready yet, or if you're not ready yet. We are also removing the distinguishment between individual producers and the producer teams. So this program is currently open for applications. We have about an 8-month window, so the calls for proposals open in mid-February. They close around the end of October. With all of our projects, our administrative council votes on the funding in February, late February, early March. So we notify you of your status in early March, and your projects can start August 1st of 2022. With this program, we have a pretty high success rate. It varies between 50 to 60% each year. The next one is for our graduate students. So if you are a full-time master's or PhD student at an accredited university in the West, you can apply for this program. With this one, the graduate student will work with their advisor and at least one producer to develop research and education. For this program, you can request up to $30,000 for 3 years. This one is not open yet. It opens for the fall semester, so look for this in early September. With this one, you'll have 3 months until early December to apply, and similar time frame. With this one, the success rate is about 30%. Our Sabbatical Research and Education program, I think, is one of the more unique ones around our region. So this is an opportunity for universities in the West to host a sabbatical faculty member from around the world to then partner with farmers, ranchers, ag professionals, and researchers here in the West. So with that project team, you'd have the host researcher, that's in the West, researcher on sabbatical, and then at least one producer. And I do have a current example for this one. So Alaska is interested in learning more about biochar. They're lacking experts on biochar in Alaska. So this year, they received a project to bring a researcher from, I believe, Washington, but I might be wrong, to Alaska for a year to develop a biochar program. So for this one, the funds are up to $75,000 for 1 year. This one also has a very long window of being open. The call for proposal opened in late January. You have until November 21st to apply. With this one, the success rate of the program is higher. It's about 50%. We also receive less applications in this program. The Professional Plus Producer is kind of the next step to the Farmer Rancher Grant Program. So in that one, I forgot to mention, with the Farmer Rancher, you work with a technical advisor. With the Professional Plus Producer, that technical person who would serve as a technical advisor is now the lead on the grant. So then that person and at least 3 producers will work together to develop research and education of on-farm projects. And for this one, the outcomes should result in quantifiable benefits for producers. This one, we just increased the funding limit to, so it was $75,000. And now we will fund up to $85,000 for up to 3 years. This one is also opened and opened April 22nd, but you have until October 22nd to submit your application. Once again, this program can be for anywhere from 1 to 3 years. It has about a 40% success rate. And then within our research and education grant programs, we have our research and education grant. So this is our highest funded one and probably one of our most competitive. So this one has a larger project team, so you'll need a researcher, an educator, and at least 3 producers on the team. So we're looking for a team to use interdisciplinary approaches to address issues related to sustainable agriculture. For this one, the funding is up to $350,000 for 1 to 3 years. It's not currently open, but for this one, we do require a pre-proposal. And then those pre-proposals are ranked and scored, and then selected pre-proposals are invited to submit a full proposal. It has been a pretty lengthy pre-proposal, but I think we're going to simplify it for next year, so be on the lookout for that one. For this program, you can keep an eye out for those pre-proposals opening in March of next year. They close in May, and then the full proposals are due in October, late October. So for this program, you'll have to think ahead to starting in August of 2026. The success rate overall is about 20%. If research isn't your specialty, we do have the 2 training and education programs. So with these professional development programs, we're looking for projects that will conduct educational programs and activities, really helping to get the results out to the field. So you can use a variety of approaches in workshops, conferences, developing curriculum, setting up demonstration sites, hosting tours, and whatever you can think of, really. We're looking for creative ideas. So the first is our professional development grant program. This is kind of our train-the-trainer program. So you're looking for projects that will advance the education and outreach of those practices to the agricultural professionals who will bring them to the producers. So for this program, you can apply for up to $100,000 for up to 3 years. We are currently also accepting applications for this program. You'll see a lot of them have a very long window, so you have some time to think about if you want to apply or not. But the success rate for this program is about 30%. And then we have our local education and demonstration grant program. This, until this year, was called our Research to Grassroots program. We've gone through a rebranding of sorts. So the purpose of this grant is to increase the application of and adoption of results and recommendations from previous SARE-funded projects. All that means is, research gets done a lot, but that doesn't mean that the results get applied to the ground. So this program is looking to address and overcome some of those barriers and just looking at reasons why those practices aren't being used. So it maybe sounds like a lot, but you just need to look at methods and results of projects. It can be from anywhere in the country. You can pick and choose parts of the project that you want to use, and then create an education and demonstration project to get that on the ground. This project did previously fund more. It now funds up to $60,000 for up to 3 years, but I think it's a great and interesting program. This one's also open right now. The call for proposals will close November 7th. I don't know what the success rate will be now that we've changed the program, but it was about 40%. And then you're looking into our special call for proposals. That's our Sustainable Agriculture Action Plan. We call it SAP. And the purpose of this one is essentially to document research, regulations, infrastructure, and education needs for sustainable ag practices of an industry, commodity, or geographic area in the West. So you kind of lead a consultative process and create a plan. So we're looking for this plan to provide important stakeholder feedback about sustainable ag needs and priorities. We have $40,000 available for this year, so we'll fund 2 grants. One will be on a specifically regionally important important ag industry or commodity, and the other is on a specific limited geographic region. That includes multiple crops or production systems. So this could be a watershed, it could be a soil and water conservation district. Obviously an island is not applicable here, but we have the Pacific Islands in our region. And just to give you examples, so this is the second year that we're running the SAP program. The two last years, so the geographic one was in Colorado, where the Mosca Hoover Conservation District interviewed stakeholders and held workshops to identify concerns and needs regarding water resources. So their report that they wrote is available on our website, as is our commodity-based one, where the Cabernet and Bordeaux wine production region of Paso Robles, California, did this interesting swarm AI survey technique to survey wine grape growers and wine producers about challenges presented by climate change and how they could promote their product and support natural resources and the economy. So if you're interested in that one, you have until September 6th to submit that application. We have what's called the grant management system online. This application is going to go through a different portal from that, so if you're interested in this one, you'll want to go from our website. So for this one, your project can be for up to 1 year, up to $20,000. Then I just put this table together. If you want to compare all the grant programs, who can apply, when the deadline is, and additional information, to take a picture of that. I also have flyers, so I have them with me, so find me if you'd like that. Happy to give them to you. And then I just wanted to go through our mini resources. So if you're interested in applying for our grants, you go to our website, western.sare.org. You'll see on the left side of that upper panel, you can go to grants, you get a list of all of our grants, if they're open, if they're not, when they close. We have resources for applying, so they'll walk you through different sections and tips to help you kind of succeed with that section. If you need help making a timeline or have questions about the budget, all of that is here. We also host grant writing webinars for our applicants. So we have 2 coming up next week for the Farmer Rancher program and the Professional Plus Producer program. We say to pre-register, but it's on Zoom, so if you go on at 3:59 p.m., you can still pre-register and join us. They're also recorded if you can't make it. New this year, we're trying drop-in live Q&A sessions for applicants. So the Northeastern region has done this in the past, and we're giving it a try this year. So you'll have all of your grant program managers available on Zoom. We picked topics for each day that you can bring any questions that you have. We just thought we'd bring topics in case people don't have questions. So you can find us on Zoom on those days. And then with our learning resource library, we put out a lot of different materials. The first one is our Western SARE podcast. So Stacy and Steve just finished up their 4th season. They're fun and nice. I listen to them in the morning when I'm walking the dog. But they talk to growers and researchers from throughout the region. You can listen to a lot of different topics. A lot of them are on soil. Some are about their SARE projects. Some are not SARE related, but are sustainable ag related. We also have recently been coming out with videos that kind of highlight some of our farmer rancher projects. So if you're interested in learning more firsthand from those PIs about what they did with their funds and how it benefited them, we have one in New Mexico on compost in New Mexico rangelands, and the second one in Hawaii on mangoes, and we'll have more to come. We also recently came out with this climate change publication. Copies are available online. I also brought a few. But it highlights projects in the region on climate change issues. So there's fields and droughts, forests and fires, islands and sea level rising, and then rangelands and ranches. So it really covers the gamut of some of the issues that are being faced in the work that we're doing. Then we have our SARE project database. This is going to be really important if you're applying to the local education and demonstration grant, because this will be how you find those funded projects that you're going to build off of. That all of our progress and final reports are publicly available, so you can use this database to learn about the work people are doing, the results they found. They include recommendation for future work, some of the challenges they overcame, and then if they developed any educational materials, you can access those there. You can search by keywords, by region, by project type, all sorts of different metrics. And just as an example, I typed in soil carbon in the West. You can see we have 72 projects that may or may not be directly related. I don't know how the keyword function works. But on this, you can search through different projects. So if it has an S, that's a research and education. F is farmer rancher. G, graduate student. O is the partnership plus producer. You can see what's years funded, a brief description of the project. And then if you click on the project name, you're taken to the project page where you'll see the summary, who's leading the project, their objectives, and reports. So it's a useful resource. If you need help navigating it, I've spent a lot of time on this database in the last year. And then some more SARE national resources. We have the resources and learning page, and they recently redesigned it so you can browse by topic now with pictures. So if you click on soil management, for example, you can see more topics. Within these, we have resources developed by SARE National as well as by SARE funded projects. And with a lot of these, you can download them for free online. With the ones that are not bound, you can often order in print for free. So if you're doing an event and you want some of these resources, you can go online, order them, and they'll ship them to you. Just plan ahead, because I learned that they ship them by media mail, so it can be a little slow. With the books, you can order them, I think it's mainly for the price of printing, essentially. And there are deals if you're ordering in bulk. So also if you're a nonprofit, they have kits available for free, so I can give you that information if you'd like to. So finally, I just wanted to wrap up with ways you can be involved and learn more with Western SARE. If you want to sign up for our mailing list, you can select to be updated on the news when calls for proposals come out, and for the SARE outreach publications. With those outreach publications, they also take feedback on what publications you'd like to see produced. I think our mailing list is maybe monthly or less. It's not a lot. If you want to apply for a grant, go to the grants page. With our grants, we've also been recruiting as reviewers, so all of our grants are reviewed by panels of researchers, extension specialists, farmers and ranchers, and others that work in sustainable ag. So if you'd like to learn about grant writing from the reviewer's perspective, or just share your expertise and experience on our proposals, feedback's provided to all who submit. Our administrative council uses that, the reviewers' input to decide what to fund. And then our administrative council, if you really want to be involved, has a few open positions. If you're interested in learning more about that, I can share more of what would be involved with that. And then I do have one more. If you came to our BPAS, Building Partnerships for Agricultural Sustainability Summit in Phoenix last year, we're hosting a spin-off that we're calling CAPS, which is Cultivating Agricultural Partnerships for Sustainability Summit. It's going to be in Salt Lake City, October 1st through 2nd. We're going to have oral presentations, lightning talks, a farmer rancher program, but really we're just trying to bring people together to talk about the role of partnerships and collaborations in sustainable ag. This says that the deadline for abstracts is tomorrow. I learned right before I came up here that we've extended it to August 9th, so if you're interested in that, fill out an abstract. It should be a good time. So if you'd like to learn more, again, our website, or you can contact the program manager for the program that you're interested in applying. So if you're interested in research and education, that'd be Dr. Clayton Marlowe, myself for Farmer Rancher, Dr. Irene Grudenberg for professional plus producer, graduate student for Sabbatical, Jenna Meeks for professional development, the local education and demonstration and the SAP programs. And then if you have questions about what you'd like to fund, our fiscal manager is Jen Von Salen. I think we're a helpful and approachable group, but unbiased. But feel free to call or email us. And that's all I have.